Hi everyone. We are going to do a project about macromolecules. Now, this is an introductory activity, so I don't expect you to know anything about these macromolecules, but that's what you're going to look up. That's what you're going to find. Okay, so just as a way of background for macromolecules, um, biological macromolecules. Now, the word macro. What does that sound like? Macro versus micro. So macro means big, large. So we're talking about very, very, very big molecules um, that are very important to all life. And everybody has these macromolecules in them. All living things require them for some activity or another. So there are four types of macromolecules that we're going to talk about, and they are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Now, some of those may sound familiar to you. Maybe you've learned about them because you're an athlete and you've been paying particular close to your diet and what is healthy for you and how to build muscles and things like that. So there's lots of all of this you might see is all starting to sound like things that we eat. Okay. That's why they're so important to life. These are all nutrients that people need to take in. Okay. Now, all of the macromolecules are what we call organic. That doesn't mean that it's on the organic section of the grocery store. Organic in chemistry means that it contains both carbon and hydrogen. Okay. In other words, it's a hydrocarbon. If it has hydrogen and carbon together, it is an organic molecule. If it does not have both carbon and hydrogen, then it's an inorganic molecule. So the four that we are looking at are all organic molecules: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to tell you about the four of them. What you're going to do is in your groups, you're going to pick a molecule to do as a group. This will give you a group of people to be looking for information and discussing the same molecule. So meaning all the people in your group are going to do the same one. So if you pick carbohydrates, all of you are doing carbohydrates. If you pick lipids, all of you are doing lipids. Okay, now here's the thing. Some groups, we're going to make sure that every group, every one of these macromolecules are covered, because then each group is going to teach the other groups about their macromolecule. Okay, so you have to research in depth one, and then the other groups are researching the other ones, and then we're going to share out information so that eventually all of us will have all of the information about all four of the macromolecules. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the project. Okay. So you're going to be in a group of up to four. I don't want any more than four. It'll probably be less than this depending on which class you're in and how big of a class we have. So we may switch that around. But basically, each person in your group is going to turn in their own campaign one sheet. Okay, so basically everybody's doing their own thing. It's just that when it comes to researching the information about the biomolecule, you guys are doing that together and discussing that together. Okay, so that's where the group piece comes in. And then you can also help each other through the software and how to use what we're going to use to make the posters and stuff like that. But each person is going to turn in their own campaign sheet. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to turn in then as far as the one sheet. A one sheet is, how do you explain it? It's almost like a little resume. I just Googled sample one sheets here, and a lot of people do one sheets. A lot of professionals, lots of people who this guy is selling something, so he has a little one sheet about him and his company. Politicians have one sheets. Tutors have one sheets, or people who do web design have one sheets. So it's kind of like a way to introduce yourself and tell people all about you in a very quick, simple format. Okay, so a one sheet can be a lot of different things. right? But it's very informative. It gives a lot of information. It's very graphic, so it's pretty because you want to catch people's eye. You want to convince them to read it. And ours is going to be a little bit different. Ours is going to be geared towards an election. Okay, so your goal is to get your molecule elected. Elected what? I don't know. We can say king of the macromolecules, I guess. Let me see if I can put in political one sheets and see if anything comes up. So you're going to see, yeah, I don't really see much here, but you're going to see a lot of graphs, things like that. So either way, the reason we're calling a one sheet instead of a campaign poster is because a campaign poster is pretty simple and there's not a lot of information on it. And we have to put a lot more information in it. But basically what you're doing is trying to get all of the information out there and convince somebody to vote for your candidate. Okay, so obviously these ones tend to be very simple, and ours is going to have a bit more information on there because obviously our goal is to learn about macromolecules. So we're going to need some more information, but you're going to use pictures and you're going to use color and you're going to use go through the rubric and write down all the stuff that we need to include. Okay. But you can use these for like inspirations, for graphic design inspiration, things like that. You can see there's a lot of red and blue, but you can make it whatever color you want. Okay, so now let me show you where we're going to create this. Down here is a link to join our Canva class. Canva is a program on the web that is a graphic design program, and you guys have free access to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to just click that link. I'm going to open an incognito window so that you can see what I'm going to do. But basically, when you click that link, oops, I didn't click the link. Let me go back there a second. Oh, where was I? Why did it go that way? Okay. Let's go copy link address and then go back to my incognito window. All right. So here is what you'll see. You've been invited to Jennifer Seiler's class, and you're going to click sign up with email, and you're going to put your name, your school email, and a password that has to be up to 8 characters with a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. And click, and it's free, just get you in. Okay. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like on this end. Okay. So this is what Canva looks like. When you log in, it might look like more like this, okay? And basically you have a bunch of templates that you can select from, but you can create any kind of graphic that you want. So I am going to recommend that you can either do something like a well, let's see, you might want to do a infographic. Because the infographic it's one of those really long things like this. And what's cool about Canva is that you've got lots and lots of templates. You just click that and boom, it's got all this stuff in there already. And then everything you can delete, you can change the colors just by clicking here. You can double click and start typing something else. You can look for other pictures. Say I want a picture of a beaker. Okay, I just say, boom, there's the beaker. Okay, so now I have a beaker on my sheets, and you move it around, and you can put text on here by dragging text over. They have pre-made tests that you can put text that you can put on there. You can change like the background if you can see the background. There's just lots and lots of easy ways to make something look very nice very quickly. Okay, because I want you to focus on the information. Now, if you don't want to do an infographic, you can look for something else. I would stay away from anything like social media because they're going to be pretty small and you're not going to be able to fit all your information on there. maybe documents, maybe, but I think you're going to have the best templates when you are in uh, infographics. Okay, you can do there. They do have posters. You can do posters here. If you click on school, I found posters, infographics, a brochure. I mean, that might be something that you want to do. Maybe you could do a brochure for your macromolecule. Okay, so but it should shout like pick me, because we want this to be something that you are trying to convince the world that you think your macromolecule is the best one ever and that everybody should vote for it. Because guess what, guys? We are going to actually vote for it. So you want to have the best one so that when we put these out there, everybody gets to vote on which ones they like the best. Okay, so okay, there's lots of other information that you don't need to see. Okay, so yeah, so you can pick from that. If you pick poster, you know, there's lots of these are a little bit different. They have different stuff on them. And again, everything is even if you start with it, you can completely change the color, change all the words. You can, if you want to look for a photo and you don't want, say, okay, you're doing carbohydrates, so you want to look for a picture of bread and put that in there in the place of the dog, you just look at that, pop right in there. Easy peasy, okay? And even if you don't find any images you don't want there, if you click upload and find it on the web, you can just drag it here and you'll have an instant new picture. So that's pretty simple as well. So anything that you can think of, pretty much you can do. Now what you're going to do here is put your name and just, I would say, what element you have, like carb poster, okay, and click, and then you're good to go. And then what you're going to do to make sure that I get it, you're going to click share, and you're going to click Jen Seiler. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I'll update that if that's not how it actually looks on your guys' end, and we have to change it in class. So hopefully that's all you have to do. But what then I'll do is then I get it in a one big folder. I get everybody so I can look at them all together. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. That's how you're going to submit it. You don't submit this on Canvas. This gets submitted or shared just via Canva. But I'll make that crystal clear once we get everybody in class and I see what it looks like on your end. Okay, and then the second part of this will be after you turn this in, you guys are going to fill out a chart and bill when everybody else shares their information. So you don't have to worry about that part right now. Right now is just picking the macromolecule that you want to do, or I'll sign it to you, and then start working on the campaign poster and trying to get them elected to office. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Hope that helps.